Okay, this is my first video for YouTube, and as far as my profile and everything like that. And basically, what I want to talk about is an interplay between, depending on how you want to look at it, three different currencies or commodities, how you want to look at it, right? So, the gold trade, oil trade, US dollar, and Bitcoin are all tied together in a way I like to think of it as like a religion, right? And in this religion, we're going to call gold essentially like Old Testament, you know what I'm saying, Judaism, and then oil could essentially be Islam, right? The dollar would be Christianity, and Bitcoin would be like non-denominational atheists or what have you, right? And in these interchanges of faith, they actually curry financial status, right? So when one of them shrinks, given that this is like, let's say that there's a certain amount of faith that's out there, period, right? Faith in any, or the faithful, right? So if your particular faith loses, you tend to lose to, say, another faction, right? So like, let's say if money's moving out of oil, it's going to move somewhere else. You see what I'm saying? As far as financial volatility, that it's seeking the best financial incentive, right? And that nature of it creates a situation that when some new religion comes in, right, like call this atheism or whatever, the new religion, and it's a trustless religion. You see what I'm saying? Unlike with the oil contracts and everything like that, you have a trustless situation in the futures market because, you have a trustful situation in the futures market that whatever you're trading and everything is backed by real assets. You know what I'm saying? Or you're trusting that in the oil patch that they're producing the right numbers, right? That lack of trust creates a spread, right? And that's the give or take. That's what give or take, I feel, means. It's purely born from a trading aspect. It's the margin. It's the what? How you gonna tell me to shush? No, you shush. Okay, I ain't even talking about that, man. And what was that? Yes. So now, if you understand a petrodollar, I don't have to explain a whole lot, right? If you understand cryptocurrencies, I don't have to explain a whole lot. But let's say that you don't, right? So we'll stick to this religious concept, right? For the people who don't understand it, they don't see the next leg of the conversation coming, right? So in the current times we have now, where oil is low, why would oil be low? Oil being low is against everyone's. All right, like, okay, if you understand financial markets and the perspective of financial markets, every time they speak on financial markets, like every time the Fed speaks and stuff like that, they're not talking to the public at large. You know what I'm saying? They don't give a shit about the public at large. It doesn't benefit the public at large. When they consider the value of money and volatility of money and everything, they only consider people who have over $10,000. Okay, this is where you factor into this play. The moment that the FDIC insured under $10,000, that was the watermark. You understand what I'm saying? Over that point, you need to put your money at risk to make money, to hold that money, and to keep it from the risk of being stolen, right? And that's why people are forced. They don't willingly go into a stock market. They don't willingly go into a bond market. None of that. They don't willingly buy debt. They have to because they aren't insured over a certain amount of money. Okay, and that's it's like the faith situation. Okay, so you can pray to your religious deity, whatever, and it'll get you an interview, but it won't get you the job. You get what I'm saying? Like it'll get you part of the way there, but it won't completely solve your problem. In comes this religion that not only says, hey, if you pay tithes or whatever, you're going to get the job, guaranteed. We just boom. Not even, we ain't fucking with you. You know what I mean? We don't give a fuck. You don't even have to be cool with everybody at church. You know how you join church and you're like, damn, I ain't cool with everybody. This bitch keep talking about me. I don't even like going to this motherfucking church. These niggas talking shit. They didn't invite me to the thing. They treat my child like motherfucking church child and everything like that. Why they ain't getting no Easter egg? Why y'all didn't point out what a motherfucking Easter egg for her ass at, right? Why I ain't do that? Why? Tell me why. Baby's crying and shit. You don't want to go to that damn church. But you need to go to church to have connections in that community, period. You see what I'm saying? Let's say you're in the Church of the U.S. Dollar. You need to be in the Church of the U.S. Dollar 24/7. You need to be one of the founding members. You need to have the last name Hillary or some shit. You know what I mean? Dig, you know, y'all know. So I guess point to be made is Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies came into is this new religion, right? And they're allowing for you to be able to trade on a level like you had $10,000, but you don't in that religion. You're okay, like it's almost like being able to be a cardinal in the Catholic Church. Everyone knows that the Catholic Church has a shit ton of money, right? Shit ton. I mean, more money than God, huh? Right? More money than God because they are God, right? So, or at least they made them up. So they got all the fucking money. And having all that damn money, you essentially have access to the money if you're in the faith, right? If you're involved in that market, you could possibly access that. But it's all based on what? Connections, who you know, right? Well, or how much you hold in that currency, period. Over $10,000. Over $10,000, they'll let you trade Forex, they'll let you trade all types of shit from an account, they'll give you money. They will let you borrow money. The church will sit here and say, here's even more money because you have money to sit here and do all this shit. You see what I'm saying? You get to borrow at 0 point whatever interest rate because you're a monk. You're you're a trusted participant. Okay, but what does that essentially say for every person? Joe Consumer. That basically says fuck you, right? Didn't I say fuck you? That basically says fuck all y'all. If you don't have no money, fuck you. You work for somebody else and you constantly never be able to manipulate the general ebbs and tides of this water pool. You see what I'm saying? You can't take advantage of the movement of money. You can't take advantage of anything, really. You are taken advantage of. That's the whole point, right? So, even in real estate, right? Real estate is one of the most racist institutions, period. Okay, it's the way you still have segregated schools. People go up in black high schools and white high schools. There's a reason for that because the whole thing is tied to real estate. If you don't live in that area, you can't go to that school and they won't sell houses to people. You see what I'm saying? It perpetuates this stuff. Okay, money and racism are tied extremely close together. Okay, they innately influence each other. You can't have one without the other. Okay, if you had equitable access to money, okay, where everyone is equal in a node or whatever, where's nothing. You can't be racist anonymously, right? That's not possible. Why in the fuck do I have to put race or gender to open an account or to deal with a financial institution? Why the fuck would they care? What bearing does it have? None. That just tells you they're racist and sexist. They shouldn't even be asking these goddamn questions. You see what I'm saying? You have to think like that to even conceptualize what I'm talking about. Okay, you have to look at yourself as sovereign in and it yourself. Okay, you are your own personal fucking kingdom.
and you have dictates and emissaries and the whole apparatus at your disposal. You just don't know it because you don't feel it. You see what I'm saying? It's a matter. It's all right. Like back in the day when kings and queens do bloodline and shit like that, they had a ton of stories. Like a lot of stories that you think of, like, oh, I love that story. They were stories about people who were royalty but didn't know. You see what I'm saying? In one sense or another. Because of the bloodline, they actually had money owed to them. They just didn't know. They had it in escrow. It was, tied up with the royal reserve or whatever. Because this was a dream of the common people. Because there was no social mobility. You see, even America was supposed to be a idealistic society in the sense that there was some sense of open mobility. You didn't have to be royalty to move up, right? And the reason the quote-unquote moving up is that social power comes along with financial power. But it's not directly tied to work. You see what I'm saying? If it was directly tied to work, then this wouldn't be possible. Just because you are cool, you have the right family, doesn't mean that you're going to make a ton of more money than a person who actually works hard, because that's where money is actually generated from. It's off of hard-working people. Right. Some work has to be produced for currency to be worth exchanging the whole you dig. And you can't sell anything without having an input cost at some point. So you see what I'm saying? Everything dictates whether or not you want that. How bad you want that is how bad how much we're willing to pay to make that. You see what I'm saying? So the focus, all right, is how do we break down those barriers and all that? Well, you don't necessarily have to, right? You already have that religion that doesn't care who you are, doesn't, you know what I'm saying? And it can compete against the other religions. And as they lose followers, they will naturally be absorbed in this religion because you have to. You see what I'm saying? It's a necessity thing. Everyone must trade. It's not... We want things that we do not want to produce. The nature of that demands a currency. Otherwise, we could easily barter between each other. And everyone's had that idea. Every hippie you've ever been, smoking, whatever, you thought of that, right? Oh, we'll just have a barter system. Part of the reason the barter system doesn't work completely is because of that lack, okay? You don't want to be the best shoemaker. You don't want to devote your life to making shoes. Or anything else, because there's an opportunity cost there. You see what I'm saying?
Shut up. I'm wrapping it up. All right. It's almost over. It's almost done. Relax.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. So,
all right. I said all that to say this.
Okay.
If you look at the charts, I feel, me personally, that the recent run-up in Bitcoin, where that came from, right? If you look at May and June, the May to June chart, right? I'm not going to post a chart right now because everybody does that on YouTube where they're looking at your camera screen, looking at my camera screen, and fuck that, all right? You just imagine in your mind, okay? May to June, you had this huge spike. Why did you have this huge spike? Somewhere, this money had to come from somewhere, okay? We don't live, dude, unless someone hid a shit ton of money electronically somewhere, this money comes from somewhere, okay? And I feel that I believe in one quintessential belief that is overarching in everything. Nothing is neither created or destroyed, right? So there's a certain amount of finite money. There's a certain amount of money that is open to alternative assets, right? And it's a large pool, all right? And the alternative asset pool is gold, commodities, rare pictures, shit, paintings, really cool cars, these things that have intrinsic value, right? And the things that have intrinsic value, the people who invest in the things that have intrinsic value are generational wealth. They tend to be dynastic wealth sometimes, like over 200-300 years, right? So why are these assets important? Why is this a big deal? Why do fluctuations in that matter, right? And the reason that matters is we are already headed for a reset, right? And financial reset is you financial collapse and we pull up some more bullshit. You know what I mean? The dollar is based off of basically nothing. Full faith and credit. The United States. That essentially part translates into full faith and credit to Trump, and I don't know about how many people would want to back that, but that's my point exactly, right? So here it is, a lot of money is leaving that market, right? So when that money, not to say that Bitcoin was illiquid, okay? After Mt. Gox, you already saw that the pool was deep. You see what I'm saying? And that there was a huge demand. Also, nothing to as far as Mt. Gox and the darker side of the web and everything like that. I look at it like porn, right? It when there was a choice between Blu-ray and DVD, that's who decides, okay? Is the amygdala, the most basic part of us decides where we're gonna put our money. You believe it or not, I really feel that way. That we make financial decisions completely emotional. That's why our conscious mind is like, what the hell did you just do? Right? There's tons of memes about that. Like, oh my gosh, why did I buy this dumbass shit? You know what I'm saying? But that's what it is. When you spend money, you're essentially a child, right? So, or you're on the mind state of a child. You're thinking like a child, right? And that's because it's emotional. It's fun to do. And it actually does have a limit to itself. You know what I'm saying? You can spend too much money and feel like it's fucking pointless. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, I mean, it is possible. All right, say, it is possible if you have an ego that understands the values of life. Right? Like if you're like, say, rich asshole, right? You egotistically went somewhere wrong. You see what I'm saying? No, because all life is based off of balance, all right? And having a shit ton of money basically says I can do whatever the fuck I want. I can get away with whatever the fuck I want, right? Now, morally, emotionally, you should have in your mind, that's not a good thing. You see what I'm saying? You should know enough about yourself to know that you don't want to be in a position, in a godlike position. Because being in a godlike position, what are you naturally disposed to? Now, some people are disposed to having random shit. Like their inner child wants little kitty shit. They want 5,000 pounds of Jello to play in. You know what I'm saying? They want to rent out Disneyland with no salary, with no cap. They're going to want to do fun things, right? And they're going to want to do fun things for other people, okay? That's when your ego is in check. When your ego is out of whack, you want to do things that aren't fun, okay? You hear me? Not fun, and not fun for the people you involve in it. Okay? Case in point. Let's say you get a shit ton of money, right? And you go to the bar and you say, hey, I'm opening, all drinks on me. I'm blowing a shit ton of money. Woo! You're in a childlike state. Your ego is in check, okay? Because you know that I can't have fun unless everyone around me has fun, okay? Ubuntu, all right? This simple, that simple concept. But the rich asshole concept comes along and says, hey, I'm going to take a shit ton. I'm going to buy a bar, and then I'm going to jack the price up, right? And I'm going to make even more money. I'm going to do like they were selling $5 shots. I'm going to buy the bar, and I'm going to raise the price to $10 shots. And marginally, maybe in the short term, you make more money. They were making $50,000 a night. They're making $100,000 a night. But hey, guess what happened? No one had any fun. Not the bar owner, not the people visiting the bar, not the people selling the drinks, not the people consuming the drinks. Nobody had fun. Even you, the person who bought the bar and did all this trade, all you did was make money. You didn't have fun doing that. That was work. That seemed like work. It felt like work. Because it is. It wasn't fun. Your ego was out of check. You put your ego into your account. You said, hey, my ego is based off of how much money I make. The other person says,
My ego is based off of how much fun I have. This person's living in the real world. This person knows that they can die. This person doesn't. You see what I'm saying? Once you start thinking like you can't die, you are subject to insane security risk. As in you are insecure. Insane security risk. Insecure. All right, I'm going to leave it on that point because the video's getting kind of long. It's like 20 minutes. Fuck y'all. Yeah, that's it.